So the sports card market is down right now, but that doesn't mean you can't make money selling cards. Here's some cards that I've sold on eBay this week and some of the lessons I've learned from selling them. So I've been selling sports cards for a long time. I remember my dad helping me, I think in 1998, setting up at a card show. I think I made like 20 bucks, maybe $25. I got a pack of Topps Finest Football, and I got the Randy Moss rookie, which is what I was looking for. It was super exciting. Might have even been a refractor looking back on it. But anyway, I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of you have collected cards for a long time, and you grow an intuition with cards as you do this. And I want to encourage you with this first sale to trust your intuition. So I was looking through the dollar box, and I believe Legacy Sports Cards, it was like a week or a couple weeks ago, and I found this Jake LaRavia Permit to Dominate insert card. I'd never seen one like it. It caught my eye just based on going through all these boxes. It's not an insert that I had seen, so I thought maybe it was good. And I was right. It is an SSP case hit insert card. LaRavia, I believe, was like the 19th pick in last year's draft. Not a big time rookie, but not a nobody either. And this sold really quick, within just a couple days for $20 free shipping. I trusted my instinct. It was only $1. You make the money on the buy, guys. So when you're paying $1 for something, even if I was wrong, I should be able to make my money back or a small profit. And I was right. I didn't even look it up there. I just trusted my gut, and it worked out. In the mid to late 90s, personally for me, basketball was my jam. In the early 90s, it was baseball, but that changed a lot for me and a lot of people in the mid to late 90s. And contrary to popular belief, it's not just because of Kobe Bryant. There was a lot of stuff going on. AI, Stephon Marbury, Kevin Garnett, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who's one of my favorite players all time. And there were a lot of iconic designs, iconic sets, and great inserts and parallels. These three cards that I sold were from the late 90s, and they were iconic parallels from that time. I sold a Patrick Ewing Class 3 gold label basketball card. That was a tough one to get, and I remember as a kid, those packs were like $5 or $6, so I would only get those occasionally, but this was a good insert, and it sold along with two gold Topps Finest basketball cards, one of Latrell Sprewell and Akeem the Dream Olajuwon, whom I will never forget for beating my Utah Jazz in both 94 and 95, quite possibly the only time the Jazz could have won the championship, because we had no chance against Michael Jordan and the Bulls. So I had $5 total into these cards. Two of the gold Finest cards I got at $7.02 for $2 a piece, and the gold label Patrick Ewing was $1 find, I believe, at Legacy Sports Cards. So I paid $5 total, and they sold for $32.50 shipped. Vintage 1990s stuff. A lot of stuff that you might look over and just overlook as you're going through these bargain boxes and bargain bins. It's stuff that has value. You just need to know what to look for. The gold Finest cards, they were the rarest of the base cards from those sets. The Class 3 was like the third level of the 4-level gold label system or whatever. And honestly, the Patrick Ewing, when I saw it in person, I didn't know much about that Class 3 stuff. It just looked amazing. So if a card looks awesome, look it up. If a card looks awesome, just look it up. Say it with me, guys. You make the money in the buy. There really isn't any reason that you should be paying 90% of comps or 80% of comps or even 70 or 60% of comps if these good, valuable cards are in the bargain boxes. People oftentimes don't want to deal with this lower end stuff, but $5 sales, $10 sales, and $15 sales, especially when they're quick, add up, and you can do really well. Jalen Johnson is a player out of Duke. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. He hasn't done a heck of a lot yet, but there's a little bit of hype behind him. I picked up this photogenic autograph of his at Legacy. I believe it was $1 or $2. It wasn't much. And I picked it up thinking, honestly, it looked cool and I'd make a few dollars on it. I was surprised. These photogenic autograph cards are worth a bit of money. I put mine up on eBay as the lowest comp at that time at around $35. And here's what I did. Some of you might think I'm crazy for doing this. I took a $15 offer because I made the money in the buy. I got a $15 offer quick. Sure, I could have waited. Probably could have got a little bit more money. I definitely don't want to wait and hope he becomes somebody great. I want to churn and burn and turn my money over. So I was aggressive. I took a $15 offer, which after fees is still like 5 or 6x my money. but I took a quick offer. What do you guys think? Would you have done that, or would you have held out for more money? So I'm all about arbitrage, finding value in stuff that people are overlooking. And one thing I look for that's often overlooked in these bargain boxes and dollar boxes are autographs or low-numbered cards of iconic college players. In particular, college players that were iconic in college but that did not pan out in the pros. They still have an ardent college fan base that collects them, but they're overlooked because they weren't that big of a deal in the pros. A player like this is a good example. I picked up this Juan Dixon autograph in the dollar bins at Legacy a week or two ago. It's a nice, clean-looking autograph. A player who did okay, played a few seasons in the NBA, but is most known for his time at Maryland. I believe they won a national championship in the early 2000s. I picked this up and it sold within just a couple weeks for $8 free shipping. Now, that's not a ton of money, but based on percentages, that's like a 4 or 500% profit. It sold pretty quick, and it's something that you can find in the dollar boxes and the bargain boxes often. I do want to take a moment and say this. Nobody knows the future of the sports card market. Nobody knows what's going to go up. Nobody knows what's going to go down. We just don't know. People might have educated guesses, and you can take anybody's advice with a grain of salt. One thing I want to do with this series that I'm going to start doing once a week is just show you some of the successes I had. Some of the stuff that's worked out for me. It may not work for you. It's stuff that I've been able to use, and it's helped me out a lot. So take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully it can help you guys a little bit, but I really want this to be about concrete stuff that is sold for me this week. And you can see it and you can take from it what you may. Cards with players in their college uniform simply don't sell. I hear this all the time on TikTok, all the time on my shorts, all the time on YouTube, and I understand where that comes from. Historically, college prospect stuff, those cards have come out first, and then within like 6 weeks or 2 months, or maybe even a little sooner, the pro rookie card stuff starts to come out, and that takes a lot of the attention. But there has been a big change in the college sports card market, and that's the NIL. There are a lot of cards coming out of players that are currently in college and might be in college for a few more years, allowing people to kind of prospect college basketball and football players, kind of like they do with baseball prospects. And I've really enjoyed this. Bowman U has been fairly popular, especially with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. I found a bit of Bowman U in my local dollar boxes and bargain boxes. A lot of these players people simply don't know because they're still in college, and I can get them at really good prices. This might not be applicable where you're at, but here in Vegas, I've had this luck. Just recently, I picked up 2 Al-Amir Dawes cards, super low numbered. Now, he's not a big-time standout. He might not even make it to the NBA, but he plays at Seton Hall, and there's not a lot of players that have cards from Seton Hall in their uniforms. I found 1 autograph, $2 for that, number to 50, and a number to 25 base card, and I sold them both to a Seton Hall fan that got a hold of me on Instagram, said he wanted these cards. We negotiated a deal. I told him to go to eBay so we can get him the discounted shipping, and he bought both of these cards for $12 shipped. I paid $4 total. I'm doubling my money or a little bit more and getting these cards to a fan of Seton Hall. It's awesome. I really love going to the bargain boxes, the dollar boxes. I've talked about this before. It's meditative. It's therapeutic for me. It's something I've done going through cards since I was a little kid, and I still enjoy it. I found a way to make a little money doing it. Not every card that I pick up out of the dollar boxes and the bargain boxes sell. I'd love for them all to sell. A lot of times I might end up, never selling them, or they may end up going through whatnot and I lose money. That does happen. But the cool thing about arbitrage, and what I want to encourage people to do, is when you look at these cards and you find something that looks like it might be worth money, go on your eBay app, go on 130 Point and see how much it's sold for recently. See how often it sells, and then check the price they're asking. If the price is right and it looks like you can make money and there's a good chance you can make money, then it's probably a buy, or at least something to be considered as a buy. And that's what I love doing. Here's one of my favorite sales from the week. It's not a big ticket sale, but it's exciting. Donovan Clingan, I've heard, or Klingman, I'm not sure how to say his name. He's out of UConn. I've heard a lot of hype about him being one of the better college basketball players in the nation. I found this number to 75 Bowman U card at Legacy for $8, which for me is a lot of money, and I kind of just winged it. I kind of took a chance on it. I don't encourage you guys to take chances, but this is what I did in this scenario, and I put it up for $20, and it sold today. Sold today for $17. plus shipping. I use my instincts. Sometimes that doesn't work out, but in this case, it did work out, and I sold it for $17 free shipping. After fees, I made $5 or $6, but I'll tell you this, I'm excited about it. I did it, and it sold, and I just love cards, guys. I really do. And in celebration of that, every week, I want to talk about one of my $1.50 or $2 cards that sold that I just think is cool. So check this out. For whatever reason, in 1998, I told my parents that I wanted one of two jerseys for Christmas that year. Either Keith Van Horn, University of Utah legend, or Chauncey Billups. For whatever reason, I had decided the number 3 pick in that year's draft was going to be one of my favorite new players, and I wanted one of his Celtic jerseys. Now, he ended up being a pretty good player, but if you remember his early career, he didn't do much of anything. He was on several teams. I think he was on the Raptors, and then he went on to the Nuggets, and then became something there. But for years, he was not very good. I remember this card vividly, and I recently sold it on eBay for $1.50 free shipping. Now, after fees and everything, I'm making like 25 cents, 30, 35 cents, somewhere in there. I can get these cards in bulk, and honestly, I enjoy selling them. When I have time to sit down and go through a bulk of cool cards from whatever era I want to go through, I'll list them. I don't always have time for that, but when I do, goodness knows I have thousands and thousands of $1.50 to $2 cards I can upload and use Card Dealer Pro and use my scanner, which at some point, I know I've talked about this before, at some point I'm going to do a whole video on that. Not really my style of video that I love to do, so I've been procrastinating it, honestly, but at some point that will get done. So this is my $1.50 card of the week, Chauncey Billups, University of Colorado legend. A little update on my 1-of-1 gold vinyl Nikola Jovic that I got out of Flux. It arrived, I think, about a week ago in my mailbox, and I posted it on eBay. I went super high. I got all sorts of ideas from you guys on what to price it at, between a couple hundred, I think as low as 100, all the way up to 1,000. I priced it at $1,000. I know I'm not going to get 1,000. You know, I guess it's possible, but I know I'm not going to get 1,000. I do or best offer on any of these big items on eBay, whether they're cards or whatever they are, but I put it at $1,000 for this reason. Typically, with a card, I want to move it as fast as humanly possible. But right now, I have the only 1-of-1 gold vinyl Flux base card rookie in the world. I own the market. Also, Jovic hasn't played well right now. Typically, I'm selling cards that I'm buying out of bins. This was something that I did for fun. I got in a box break and I won this. So I'm cool sitting on this card and seeing what happens. I have received several offers. I've received a $300 offer, a couple of those, and one as high as $400. So am I crazy for not taking that $400 offer? It's, right on the precipice. I actually think Dawn, my girlfriend, rejected that $400 offer. I probably would have too at this point. I'm going to sit on it for a little while and see what happens. It may end up selling for less. That's always a possibility. It could sell for a couple hundred, but it might sell for a little bit more. So we're going to see what happens. I'm excited about this card. It's pretty cool. I like having it. I'm not really in a big rush to sell it, so wish me luck, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video, and also like and subscribe, and let your friends know about American arbitrage cards, I guess. Later, guys.